dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The number of coronavirus deaths in the United States topped 4,000 today, with about half in New York State. More than 900 deaths were reported today alone in the U.S., with at least 2 more here in Kentucky. CBS's Naomi Rukin reports from New York City, the nation's epicenter for this pandemic.
In a grim new milestone, the number of confirmed U.S. coronavirus cases has doubled in just 5 days, breaking through the 200,000 mark. And as the nation's battle ramps up, the federal stockpile of protective gear for healthcare workers, gowns, masks, and gloves is nearly depleted. President Trump explained it this way.
Because we're sending it directly to hospitals. We don't want it to come to the stockpile because then we have to take it after it arrives and bring it to various states and hospitals.
In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis announced a stay-at-home order for the state's more than 21 million residents.
We don't really know how all these measures work because it's never been tried on American society before, but I think we find ourselves in a situation where we have a national pause.
The Florida order comes days after the White House extended social distancing guidelines to the end of April. Task Force health officials say, according to their models, as many as 240,000 Americans could die in the coming weeks. Here in New York City, the streets are quiet for the most part, but Governor Cuomo says people are still defying social distance orders.
If you're going to force me into a position where I have to mandate it and make it a law, a social distancing law that which I think is absurd, but it has to be enforced.
The governor closed all of New York City's playgrounds and asked police to enforce it. And scenic Grand Canyon National Park is being shut due to the coronavirus, officials say, until further notice. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Back here in Kentucky, the number of COVID-19 cases continues to increase day by day. This map gets more red. Today, Governor Andy Beshear announced 93 new cases and at least 2 new deaths. That means Kentucky likely has now more than 680 cases and 20 deaths total, and 11 of those are in Pulaski County, one of our hardest hit counties. Elsewhere, we learned Pike County confirmed its first case of coronavirus, a 28-year-old employee of Pikeville Medical Center. Medical professionals announced the positive case at a news conference at the Pike County Courthouse, saying the man is in good condition and is now self-isolated. They say the positive test is not something they, of course, wanted to see, but they are prepared for it, adding that the community can help.
This is a civic duty to keep yourself at home and cut down an interaction with other people to stop the spread of the infection from one person to another person. So please practice that civic duty and be part of the solution to this area.
Officials say the man who tested positive is not a doctor and is believed to have contracted the virus in a different healthcare facility. Shortly after the governor's news conference ended today, we learned of a second confirmed case in Perry County. Health officials said they received the confirmation a 43-year-old woman has the virus today. We are told that woman is doing okay and is self-quarantining at home. Now, the 78-year-old Perry County man who tested positive is currently being treated in the ICU at Pikeville Medical Center. Health officials say there are no obvious connections between the 2 Perry County cases. It's been nearly a month since Kentucky saw its first case of COVID-19. More people are getting sick, hospitals are running low on supplies, and new recommendations are coming out each day. As more data and projections come to light, it is keeping health professionals on their toes. Just yesterday, we learned COVID-19 is expected to kill between 100 to 240,000 Americans. Dr. Ryan Stanton says it could be a sobering reality.
We have 100,000 deaths across the country, then you're talking about somewhere between 3 and 5 years of the flu all put together in about a 6 month span, and that just gets us through about August.
Some experts predict at least 800 Kentuckians will die from the virus. There's still hills to climb, but Stanton says soon he hopes we'll see light at the end of the tunnel. Hospitals in our region are at a unique point in the COVID-19 pandemic. More rural hospitals have a chance to be proactive instead of reactive, much like hospitals in big cities are with a sudden surge in cases. In Eastern Kentucky, new numbers show our region is the least healthy in the state. Not really a surprise. More people here have pre-existing conditions, and many counties fall into the bottom 25% of all 120 counties health-wise, meaning people here might need hospital care more with COVID-19. And there are not as many hospitals in rural areas as there may be in a county like Fayette. But there are plans here for when the COVID-19 breakout eventually hits. Public Health Director for 7 counties in the Kentucky River District Health Department's area says meetings with local hospitals are a daily occurrence.
So should something occur like that here in Eastern Kentucky, there are plans, there are resources that we would try to tap to bring in, alternate care sites and do different things. I was actually on a conference call yesterday about alternate care sites. What would we do should our hospital get overwhelmed, and how would we care for those individuals and make sure that their needs are met?
3 of the district's 7 counties have hospitals. ARH in Perry County has more than 250 hospital beds and roughly 50 ventilators. First, it was Hillbilly Days in Pikeville. Now, one of the oldest festivals in Eastern Kentucky is canceled. The Kentucky Mountain Laurel Festival in Bell County usually brings in folks from all over right before Memorial Day. Officials said this was a very difficult decision. The festival was set to begin in Pineville on May 21st.
It's kind of been a gloomy day in the mountains. We've remained mostly on the drier side, but clouds are going to start to clear out tonight, which means more sunshine on the way. Looking at our UVA-wise camera, you can see those thicker clouds and some peaks of sunshine right before that sunset, and we're going to continue to see those clouds move on out of here. Looking over into Mount Vernon along Interstate 75, looking pretty good and quiet and dry over there. Satellite and radar shows just the few showers we saw. Not convinced all of those are reaching the ground, but definitely saw a few sprinkles here and there, and you can see those clouds really starting to clear out as we head into the overnight hours. So as we go hour by hour, we'll see those mostly to partly cloudy skies, and temperatures will drop into about the upper 30s. So it'll be a chilly start to your Thursday, and then we will see plenty of sunshine as we head throughout the rest of the day, and those temperatures going to get close to average by tomorrow, lower 60s. We'll be back in 70s by the weekend, and that looks to continue into the new work week as well. But when do we bring back those rain chances again? Well, we'll have that answer coming up in a little bit.
Thank you, Paige. As more counties announce orders to restrict shoppers to 1 person per family, Hazard and Perry County are finishing their first full day with those restrictions. City and county leaders were mulling over the idea for nearly a week as positive COVID-19 cases neared the area. Last night, on the heels of the first case in the county, officials used a KRS statute to make the order.
KRS that gives us the authority in a situation like this with the pandemic that's going on, that public health and safety, that we can make ordinances that protects our citizens. And that's all we're trying to do, is protect our citizens at the end of the day.
Officials say this has been received well after 1 day of it being in effect. Governor Beshear is encouraging everyone to stay home, especially the most vulnerable, the elderly. So the Harlan County Community Action Agency jumped in to help them safely get food. WYMT's Emily Bennett shows us how.
During this dangerous time for seniors, the Harlan County CAA wants to keep them as healthy as possible.
Trying to keep them safe at home, healthy and happy at home.
So they decided to start shopping for them, taking orders online and by phone.
I just ask you a couple questions, make out a list, and go shopping for you the day of your districts.
Jessica Collett is a shopping assistant.
I'll do one order, and then when I get done, I'll do the other order, and then I check out like 2 separate times.
Shopping for 3 or 4 people per day.
I'm still getting used because there's items that I normally don't buy. A lot of the elderly, they shop for different things, so it takes me a little bit to get everything everybody needs.
To organize the orders, they limit each household to 1 order per week, going to 1 area in the county each day.
we set it up by district. So like Mondays we do District 1, Tuesdays District 2, and so forth.
Once College shops,
The total was $61.69.
she brings it back to the delivery drivers,
You take pay for it? You want both of these? Okay.
taking the groceries right to their door.
We're not charging a fee for delivery. We just ask the reimbursement for the items.
Helping those who do not have anyone to help them. In Harlan, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
The shopping assistance is available to those 62 and older or on disability. To order, you can call 606-573-5335 or go to their website, Harlan County CAA.com. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, one man says an unemployment loophole is preventing him from getting income, plus the next state that might peak for coronavirus cases.
And sunshine returns tomorrow, but how long will it stick around? I'll have that answer coming up.